What's up, MetaNerdz? This video is all about the Starweird. It's a pretty fitting name, because it is by far one of the strangest creatures in all of Star Wars. It's perhaps wrong to even call them a species, because they don't have a body, they don't have any of the regular needs of living beings, and the way that they move through space and time is completely unlike any other being in the galaxy. They are something like space ghosts, as they are a sentient life form, but are made out of energy. Many Jedi believe that Starweirds were created out of the dark side of the Force, and their evidence for this was that if there was a group of people, the Starweird would always focus on attacking the Jedi. Other things that support this is the fact that they don't have a normal physical body, but also by the fact that they weren't really damaged by physical objects, and only destroyed by someone who could use the Force. The Starweirds would also attack using Force powers, with one of these being Force Lightning, an ability that was most often reserved for those who were strong in the dark side of the Force. Starweirds usually preyed on people that were stranded out in deep space, but they could also manifest themselves aboard ships while they were traveling through hyperspace. These ghosts, or perhaps demons, would float around on the ship looking for its next prey. Those who were unlucky enough to run into a Starweird always describe it the same way. It had a large mouth of jagged, decaying teeth, eyes with an eerie bright glow, a bony skeletal-like frame with wispy rags that floated behind it. Its hand contained 3 large black claws, and like many experiences with ghosts on the planet Earth, even though this attacker had no bodily form, it could somehow use this energy to scratch and claw its victims. The only thing that changed from one Starweird to the other was sometimes its face. Certain accounts from those who survived encounters with this terrifying creature report that the Starweird's face would change, reflecting back a dead and rotting version of their victim's face. Though some were able to escape the Starweird and survive this encounter, anybody who ran into one was mentally scarred for the rest of their life, never being able to completely forget the terrifying scream that a Starweird would make. The Starweird would telepathically invade the mind of these people lost in space, and scream within their victim's own head. But if you ever run into one of these creatures while traveling throughout the galaxy, remember the story of Jedi Master Wylot. During the Great Galactic War, around the year 3642 BBY, he defeated the Starweird Queen. He showed that it was possible to destroy these things, if only by using the power of the light side of the Force. With the Queen dead, it's unclear how the Starweird reorganized themselves, and there are way more questions than there are answers, but the one thing that we know for sure is that these creatures are not just some made-up fantasy from deep space smugglers, but a very real threat to anyone who finds themselves traveling through space, especially through hyperspace, and if they are manifestations of the dark side of the Force, then they may represent an even larger threat, namely, being able to be controlled by a powerful dark side user, who could organize these creatures and use them as perhaps one of the most deadly weapons the galaxy has ever seen. Well, that's it for the Starweirds, but I did want to talk about what creature from our planet these creatures may have been based on. In Irish folklore, there's a creature known as the Banshee. Banshees were female spirits that would scream out in the middle of the night, often signaling bad luck, or more specifically, the impending death of a family member. The physical description of a Banshee is very similar to that of a Starweird. They often appear to be ragged, loosely hanging pieces of flesh to a thin skeletal frame, but they also had the ability to change their appearance if they wanted to. They had crazy, unkempt hair, and sharp, rotted teeth. And some Banshees are also described as having long, thin, sharp fingers. And even their method of travel is similar to that of a Starweird, because while many believe that this Star Wars demon comes out of hyperspace, Irish folklore said that the Banshee would come out of fairy circles, these large stone structures which were said to be the gates to the parallel universe, known as the spirit realm. Well, that's it for the Starweird. If you liked it, go ahead and hit that like button, and be sure to leave a comment down below if I missed any cool facts, or if you have a suggestion for future videos. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at MetaNerdz so you can see us build Star Wars props and cosplays, along with some other cool Star Wars stuff. If you want to help support this channel, check out the description below for our Amazon store and our Patreon. And be sure to subscribe, because we're making videos like this every single day. But more important than all that, remember, that screaming in your head may just be from a Starweird, and the Force will be with you, always.